My girlfriend texted, "I have the best news. I'm pregnant. I'd been deployed for 7 months straight, not a single visit home." I replied, "I have news too. I'm infertile. Have been since I was 19. The pregnancy announcement came through at 3:47 a.m. Kuwait time. I was sitting in a plywood bee hut that smelled like dust and diesel, 7 months into a deployment that felt like 7 years, scrolling through my phone during the only quiet hour we got. The message popped up with a little confetti animation. Rachel had used the special iMessage effect. "Babe, I have the best news. I'm pregnant. We're going to be parents." I stared at that message for 11 minutes. I know it was 11 minutes because I watched the timestamp change. 3:47 became 3:50, became 3:55, became 3:58. The confetti kept falling in a loop every time I scrolled back up. Cheerful, celebratory. My hands weren't shaking. That surprised me. I'd expected them to shake. Instead, I felt this strange, cold clarity, like someone had poured ice water directly into my brain and everything suddenly made perfect, horrible sense. See, here's the thing Rachel forgot. I can't have children. I've never been able to have children. I told her this on our second date 2 years ago when things were getting serious and I wanted her to know what she was signing up for. I sat across from her at that little Italian place on 5th Street, watching her face as I explained that testicular cancer at 19 had taken everything, that 3 rounds of chemo had left me with a sperm count of 0, that 4 different specialists had confirmed it was permanent, irreversible, absolute. She cried that night, held my hand across the table, said it didn't matter, said she loved me anyway, said we could adopt someday, that there were other ways to build a family, that I was more than my biology. I believed her. I'd been believing her for 7 months while I rotted in this desert, sending money home, planning our future, counting down the days until I could hold her again. And now she was pregnant with someone else's baby. I typed my response slowly, deliberately, no typos, no emotion. "I have news too. I'm infertile. Have been since I was 19. 0 sperm count. Medically impossible for me to father children." Then I waited. 3 dots appeared, disappeared. 6 hours of nothing. "My name is Marcus. Marcus Oyalaran, 26 years old. Staff Sergeant, United States Army. Currently stationed at Camp Arifjan in Kuwait on a deployment that started in February and wasn't supposed to end until September. I joined the Army at 21, 2 years after cancer tried to kill me and mostly failed. The chemo got the tumor. It also got my fertility, most of my hair for a while, and about 30 pounds I couldn't afford to lose. But I survived, built myself back up, found purpose in service. Met Rachel Whitmore at a friend's barbecue 3 summers ago. She was 23, worked as a dental hygienist, had this laugh that made everyone in the room turn around. Brown hair, green eyes, smile that could stop traffic. She asked for my number before I could ask for hers. Our first date was coffee. Our second was dinner, the one where I told her about the cancer, about what it took from me. Our third was a hike where she held my hand the whole way and told me she'd never met anyone as honest as me. We moved in together after 6 months, a little apartment on the east side of town. She decorated it with plants I couldn't name and throw pillows I didn't understand, but it felt like home. When my deployment orders came, she cried for 3 days, made me promise to call every chance I got, made me promise to come back safe, made me promise we'd get married when I returned. I kept my promises, all of them. I called twice a week, minimum. Video calls when the connection held, voice calls when it didn't. Sent money home every paycheck, $400 a month to cover her rent since her hours had been cut. Paid her car insurance, her phone bill, added her to my bank account so she'd have emergency access. I trusted her completely, which is why I didn't notice the signs until they were impossible to ignore. Looking back, the red flags started around month 3. The calls got shorter, not dramatically, just enough to notice. We used to talk for an hour, sometimes 2, then 45 minutes, then 30. Then she started having reasons to hang up. "Sorry babe, I'm just exhausted. Early shift tomorrow. My mom's calling. I should take this. Heading to bed, talk tomorrow." I told myself it was normal. 7 months is a long time. People get tired. Relationships have ebbs and flows. Then the excuses started. She couldn't video call because her camera was acting weird for 3 weeks. Then her phone died during our scheduled time, and she didn't charge it until the next morning. Then she was at a work thing she'd never mentioned. Month 4, I noticed the charges. See, Rachel was on my phone plan. Had been since before I deployed, which meant I could see her call logs if I wanted to. I didn't want to. Checking up on your girlfriend felt paranoid and controlling. I told myself I was being ridiculous, but then she mentioned someone named Jordan. Jordan drove me to the airport when I dropped off your care package. It was on his way. Jordan from work brought me soup when I was sick. He's like a brother to me. Jordan says hi, by the way. He thinks it's so sweet that you call so often. Jordan, Jordan, Jordan. The name started appearing everywhere. In her stories, in her excuses, in the background of photos she sent where a man's jacket hung on a chair that wasn't mine. Month 5, I finally looked at the call logs. I wish I hadn't. 3 months of late night calls to the same number, starting around 11 p.m. and lasting until 1, 2, sometimes 3 in the morning. 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours once. Every single night I wasn't scheduled to call. The number belonged to Jordan Merrick. I found him on Facebook, 28 years old, barista at a coffee shop downtown, tattoos, man bun, posted a lot of acoustic guitar covers. In his profile picture, he was wearing the jacket I'd seen in Rachel's apartment. I didn't confront her immediately. I should have. But I was 7,000 miles away with no leave available and 4 months left on my deployment. What was I going to do? Scream at her over a satellite connection while my entire unit listened? Instead, I started documenting. Screenshot of every call log, downloaded every photo from her social media, pulled bank statements showing charges I didn't recognize. recognize. Victoria's Secret in April, $347. A perfume purchase in May, $89. A hotel charge from March. A hotel, the Marriott downtown, one night, $189. In March, I was in the desert watching mortar rounds light up the horizon. Rachel was 20 minutes from our apartment, paying for a hotel room. She never mentioned it, not once. I called my bank, quietly, without telling her. I need to review authorized users on my account. The representative pulled it up. You have one authorized user, Rachel Whitmore, added February of this year. What's the current balance? $2,147.32. My stomach dropped. I'd had over $8,000 in that account when I deployed. Can you tell me the recent transactions? She could. She did. Rachel had been bleeding me dry. Restaurants, shopping, a spa weekend, more hotels, always when I was unreachable, always just under the amount that would trigger a fraud alert. I changed my passwords that night, removed her access, set up a new account at a different bank, and rerouted my direct deposit. She didn't notice for 2 weeks. Then, hey babe, something's wrong with the card. It got declined at Target. Can you check? I'll look into it. I didn't look into it. The pregnancy announcement came 3 weeks later. By then, I knew everything. The affair, the money, the lies. I just didn't have proof that would hold up if she tried to deny it. So when those 3 dots finally turned into a response, I was ready. Babe, doctors can be wrong. Miracles happen. This is our baby. I promise you. I read it 3 times, felt nothing. Then I typed, what's his name? She called instantly. I let it ring 4 times before answering. Marcus, please. She was crying. The ugly crying she did when she wanted sympathy. I've been completely faithful. I swear on my mother's life. I swear on everything. This baby is yours. Rachel, I had cancer. The chemo destroyed my fertility. I have a sperm count of 0. I've been tested 4 times in 7 years. It's not low. It's not unlikely. It's medically impossible for me to father children. Maybe your count recovered. It happens. Google it. Miracles happen every day. Maybe God. I got tested 3 weeks before deployment just to check, just to see if anything had changed in 7 years. I kept my voice flat, emotionless. Azoospermia, complete absence of sperm. Dr. Nathaniel Reeves at Fort Hood, reproductive endocrinologist, 22 years of practice. He told me the same thing every other doctor has told me. I cannot have biological children, ever. Silence. Rachel, who's Jordan? Nothing. Jordan Merritt, the barista, the one who's like a brother, the one whose jacket I've seen in 6 different photos from our apartment. Her breathing changed. The crying stopped. You've been calling him every night. 2 hours, 3 hours, past midnight, since March. I have the phone records, Rachel. I have all of them, still nothing. I have the hotel charge, the Marriott, March 15th. One night, while I was in a combat zone, you were in a hotel room with him. When she finally spoke, her voice was different, cold, hard, the mask slipping away to reveal whatever lived underneath. Fine. You want the truth? You were gone. Jordan was here. You can't even give me a baby, Marcus. What was I supposed to do? Be loyal. She laughed. Actually laughed. Loyalty doesn't keep me warm at night. My paycheck does. The one that was paying your rent, your car, the credit card you maxed out in June buying spa days and lingerie. Did Jordan enjoy the lingerie, Rachel? Did he appreciate the $350 you spent at Victoria's Secret while I was eating sand in Kuwait? Marcus, I already contacted my bank. Your access is gone. The card is canceled. I changed the beneficiary on everything. My life insurance, my retirement, all of it. You're not getting another cent. You can't do that. Her voice was rising now. Panic. I'm pregnant. I need financial support. You have to. Then call Jordan. Jordan makes $12 an hour. Sounds like your miracle baby is going to need a miracle income. I hung up, blocked her number, and started making plans. The thing about Rachel is that she forgot something important. Her family loved me. Her mother, Diane Whitmore, called me the son she never had. She'd grown up poor, married young, worked her way into the middle class through sheer determination. She saw something of herself in my story. The cancer survival, the military service, the self-made path. She told me once that I was the best thing that ever happened to her daughter. Her father, Thomas Whitmore, retired electrician, watched football with me every Sunday before I deployed. We had a running bet on the Cowboys. I owed him $40 that I was planning to pay back with interest when I returned. Her little sister, Megan, 19 years old, texted me memes constantly, said I was the cool older brother she'd always wanted, asked my advice about college, about boys, about life. Her grandmother, Eleanor, 83 years old, sent me care packages overseas. Homemade cookies that arrived as crumbs but tasted like love. Notes that said, stay safe, we need you home. These people had welcomed me into their family, trusted me, treated me like one of their own. And Rachel was about to humiliate them in front of everyone they knew, because Rachel's baby shower was in 3 weeks. Diane had been planning it for a month. She'd sent invitations to 30 people, friends, family, co-workers, church members. She'd bought decorations, ordered a cake, reserved the community room at the local library, pink everything, because it was a girl. Rachel had told them the baby was mine, had told them we'd been trying before I deployed, had told them it was a miracle that it finally worked. She'd lied to her own family, let them spend money, let them celebrate, let them believe I wasn't going to let it happen. I called my commanding officer, Captain Elijah Drummond, the morning after the phone call. Sir, I need to request emergency leave. He looked up from his paperwork. Drummond was old school, 23 years in, face like weathered leather, eyes that had seen too much. But he was fair. What's the emergency, Staff Sergeant? Family situation, sir. My girlfriend is pregnant. The baby isn't mine. She's been cheating on me for months while stealing from my bank account. Her family doesn't know, and they're about to throw her a baby shower celebrating what they think is my child. Drummond stared at me for a long moment. That's one hell of a situation. Yes, sir. You have documentation? Phone records, bank statements, medical records proving my infertility, text messages, all of it. He leaned back in his chair. What are you planning to do? too. Tell her parents the truth, sir, before they're publicly humiliated. They deserve to know. He was quiet for a while. Then he nodded. I'll push the paperwork through. You've got 2 weeks. Use them wisely. Thank you, sir. And Oyalaran, sir? I'm sorry. Nobody deserves what she did to you. I landed at Dallas-Fort Worth on a Thursday evening. Rachel didn't know I was coming. Nobody did except Captain Drummond and my buddy, Specialist Torres, who'd agreed to cover my shifts. I'd planned everything carefully. The baby shower was Saturday afternoon. I had approximately 40 hours to do what needed to be done. First stop, Dr. Nathaniel Reeves. I'd called ahead, explained the situation. He met me at his office after hours, looking tired but sympathetic. Marcus, I pulled your file when you called. I'm sorry you're going through this. I need documentation, Doc. Something official. Something that proves beyond any doubt that I cannot be the father of this baby. He nodded. I can provide a letter summarizing your medical history. Diagnosis of testicular cancer at 19. 3 rounds of chemotherapy. Confirmed azoospermia on multiple semen analyses. Most recently, he checked his notes. January of this year. Complete absence of sperm. 0 motility, 0 count. And the prognosis? Permanent. The chemotherapy damaged your germinal epithelium beyond recovery. There's no medical pathway to biological fatherhood without assisted reproduction using donor sperm. He paused. I'm sorry, Marcus. I wish I had better news. You gave me the news 7 years ago. It hasn't changed. He printed the letter on official letterhead, signed it, sealed it. Evidence item 1. Second stop, my bank. Michelle Santos, branch manager, had been expecting me. I'd called ahead, explained I needed documentation of fraudulent charges and unauthorized withdrawals. She pulled the records, printed them out. 53 pages of transactions spanning 7 months. Mr. Oyalaran, based on what I'm seeing here, you may have grounds for fraud charges. The total unauthorized withdrawal appears to be approximately $500 to $200. I'm not pressing charges. Not yet. I just need the documentation. She nodded, handed me the stack. For what it's worth, I'm sorry. This is one of the worst cases of financial infidelity I've seen. Evidence item 2. Third stop, T-Mobile. I owned the account. Rachel was an authorized user. I requested complete call logs for the past 8 months. The customer service representative printed them without question. Highlighted in yellow, 147 calls to Jordan Merrick's number. Average duration, 2 hours, 14 minutes. Total time spent on the phone with her affair partner while I was deployed, approximately 329 hours. 329 hours. That's almost 14 full days. Evidence item 3. Fourth stop, screenshots. I'd been saving them for months. Every text where she mentioned Jordan. Every excuse that didn't add up. Every lie I could prove. I printed them at Kinko's. Organized them chronologically. Put them in a folder. Evidence item 4. By midnight Thursday, I had everything I needed. Friday, I rested. Ate real food for the first time in months. Tried to feel something other than cold determination. Saturday morning, I put on civilian clothes and drove to the Whitmore house. Diane answered the door. Her face went through about 6 emotions in 3 seconds. Confusion, shock, joy, concern, more confusion, then overwhelming happiness. Marcus, oh my God. She pulled me into a hug so tight I couldn't breathe. Rachel didn't say you were coming. Does she know? Oh, she's going to lose her mind. Thomas appeared behind her. Big smile, the same firm handshake he'd given me 100 times. Good to see you, son. Sneaking home to surprise her? Something like that. Megan came running down the stairs. Marcus! She tackled me in a hug. This is the best surprise ever. Rachel's going to freak out. I looked around the living room. Pink streamers hung from every surface. Balloons clustered in corners. A banner over the fireplace read, "Welcome, baby girl." A table was stacked with wrapped gifts, at least 30 of them. In the kitchen, I could see a cake decorated with pink frosting and tiny fondant booties. Baby girl Oyalaran, the cake said. My name on a cake for a baby that wasn't mine. Can I talk to you both? I asked Diane and Thomas. Privately? Before Rachel gets here? Their smiles faltered. They recognized the tone. The same tone doctors use before delivering bad news. Of course, Diane said. Megan, honey, can you give us a minute? Megan looked between us, confused, but retreated upstairs. We sat in the living room. Diane on the couch, Thomas in his recliner, me in the chair across from them. What's going on, Marcus? Thomas asked. You look like someone died. I took a breath. I was diagnosed with testicular cancer when I was 19. I went through 3 rounds of chemotherapy. The treatment saved my life, but it permanently destroyed my fertility. I have azoospermia, a complete absence of sperm. I can never have biological children. This has been confirmed by 4 different doctors over 7 years, most recently 3 weeks before I deployed. I pulled out the letter from Dr. Reeves, handed it to Thomas. I told Rachel this on our second date. She knew from the very beginning. She said it didn't matter. She said we could adopt someday. Diane's face was frozen. But Rachel said, she said you'd been doing fertility treatments before you deployed. She said it finally worked. She said, we never did fertility treatments. There's no treatment that could help my condition. I've been deployed for 7 months without a single trip home. Rachel is 4 months pregnant. Dead silence. Thomas read the doctor's letter slowly. His jaw tightened with every line. She's been having an affair, I continued, with a co-worker named Jordan Merrick. They've been seeing each other since at least March. I pulled out the phone records, handed them to Diane. 147 calls over 7 months. Average duration, 2 hours. All late at night. All while I was overseas. Diane's hands shook as she flipped through the pages. I pulled out the bank statements. She's also been stealing from me. Over $5,000 in unauthorized charges. Hotels, shopping, spa days. I pointed to a highlighted line. This is the Marriott downtown. March 15th, 189. One night, Thomas stood up. His face was purple. That girl, he said slowly, looked me in the eye and told me this baby was yours. ours. She let her mother plan this entire party. She let us invite our whole family. The front door opened. Rachel walked in carrying grocery bags, humming to herself, wearing a maternity dress that showed off the bump, smiling. Then she saw me. The bags hit the floor. Glass shattered. Something in one of them broke on impact. Milk spread across the hardwood. Marcus, her voice was barely a whisper. What are you? How did you? Diane stood up, voice trembling with barely contained rage. Who's Jordan, Rachel? All the color drained from Rachel's face. Mom, I can explain. Explain what? Thomas held up the phone records. 147 phone calls. The hotel in March. The money you stole from this man while he was serving his country. Daddy, please. It's not what it looks like. Then what is it? Diane's voice cracked. Because it looks like you lied to us. To everyone. You let us plan this party. You let us spend money. You let us believe this baby was Marcus's when you knew he can't have children. Rachel looked at me, desperate, searching for some angle, some manipulation that might still work. Marcus, please, I love you. We can work this out. Jordan means nothing. It was a mistake. You told me loyalty doesn't keep you warm at night. Her mouth snapped shut. You told me I couldn't give you a baby. Like my worth as a partner depended on my sperm count. Like everything I did for you, the money, the support, the trust meant nothing because I couldn't breathe. I stood up, walked toward her, stopped 3 feet away. I gave you everything, Rachel. Everything I had. And you threw it away for a barista with a man bun who makes $12 an hour. Marcus, I'm done. We're done. Find somewhere else to live by the end of the month. I've already changed the locks on the apartment. I paused. And you should probably cancel the shower. I don't think anyone's going to feel like celebrating. I walked past her, past the shattered groceries and the spreading milk, past the pink streamers and the balloons and the cake with my name on it. Behind me, I heard Diane start to cry. I didn't look back. The aftermath was nuclear. Diane canceled the baby shower within the hour, called every single person who'd been invited and told them the truth. By Sunday morning, the entire Whitmore extended family knew what Rachel had done. Her grandmother, Eleanor, was the one who hit hardest. She'd sent me those care packages, prayed for my safety, told everyone at her church about Rachel's wonderful boyfriend serving overseas. She called Rachel directly. I heard about the conversation later from Megan. You've broken my heart, Eleanor said. I raised your mother to be better than this. I thought I raised you the same way. I was wrong. She hung up and didn't speak to Rachel for 3 months. Rachel's father cut her off financially, told her she was on her own until she learned what accountability meant. Her mother couldn't look at her. Jordan, predictably, disappeared the moment things got real. When Rachel called to tell him she'd been exposed, he said, and I quote, according to Rachel's tearful confession to her mother, I'm not ready to be a father. This was supposed to be casual. 329 hours of phone calls, hotels, a baby, casual. Rachel moved in with a friend from work. Then that friend found out the full story and kicked her out. Last I heard, she was staying in a weekly rate motel on the edge of town, working extra shifts to cover the bills I used to pay. The baby was born in October, a girl. She named her something trendy that I've already forgotten. Jordan's name isn't on the birth certificate. He refused to sign, refused to take a paternity test until Rachel threatened legal action. When the test came back positive, he started making minimum child support payments, $284 a month based on his income, and otherwise pretended the child didn't exist. Rachel reached out to me once, about a month after everything fell apart. A long text full of apologies and explanations and requests for closure. I didn't respond. Some doors, once closed, stay closed. I finished my deployment in September, came home to an apartment that was finally fully mine, threw out everything that reminded me of her, bought new furniture, new sheets, started over. The anger faded eventually, not all at once, in waves. Some days I felt nothing. Other days I wanted to scream until my throat bled. I started seeing a therapist, Lieutenant Colonel Pamela Okonkwo, military counselor, 30 years of service. She specialized in relationship trauma and betrayal. What she did wasn't about you, Dr. Okonkwo told me during our 3rd session. Her choices reflect her character, not your worth. You were loyal. You were honest. You did everything right. Then why does it feel like I did something wrong? Because you trusted someone who didn't deserve it, and part of you is angry at yourself for not seeing it sooner. She leaned forward. But here's the truth, Marcus. You couldn't have seen it. You were doing your job, serving your country, being the man you're supposed to be. She's the one who failed, not you. It took months for those words to sink in, but eventually they did. It's been a year now. I'm still in the Army. Made E7 last month. Sergeant First Class. My CO put me in for a commendation based on my performance during the deployment. I haven't dated anyone seriously. Not ready. Maybe someday. Rachel's daughter turned one recently. I know this because Megan still texts me sometimes. She sends updates, even though I tell her she doesn't have to. The baby looks just like Jordan, she wrote last week. It's weird. Everyone can see it except Rachel. She still tells people the father is not in the picture, like she had nothing to do with it. I didn't respond. Thomas Whitmore reached out a few months ago, apologized for his daughter, said he was ashamed, said he hoped I'd find someone who deserved me. You're still family to us, Marcus, even if she isn't. I thanked him. Meant it. Diane sends me Christmas cards. Eleanor still prays for me at her church. Rachel, as far as I know, hasn't changed. Still blaming everyone else. Still convinced she's the victim, but that's not my problem anymore.